We back.
Hello.
You see this consistency, my guys? This is episode 27,
Word.
Chillin With Villains Podcast.
I apologize for not making the last time.
It's cool, Mark. We really needed you there for fact checking.
It's funny because I've done. I feel like I've deserved to be the title of an episode, and one time I'm on the title of an episode, I'm not there.
It's actually the second time we name drop you in the title. So.
Is it?
Yeah, the first one was Zoom come through.
Oh yeah, and yeah. You guys only name podcasts after me when I'm not there.
Well, let's see how this one goes. But welcome everyone who has been listening so far. Shout out to y'all who have been listening and have subscribed to us on Anchor, on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube, who follow us on IG, who follow us on Twitter. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to y'all.
And check us out. We got a whole new look. Shout out to Nicecast for hooking us up with our new art and logo.
Yeah, thank you.
Gave us an identity.
Yeah, that shit is fine, man. I'm fucking with it.
And wait, let me give him a round of applause here. Shout out to Nicecast.
Come on to our cast, bro. We'd love to.
For real.
Love for you to be a guest. Our first guest.
For real, we'd love to have you come through and just talk shit. But
I think that should be our goal for 2020 is to get some more guests, get some actual guests on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, not some more. Get a guest.
Right.
Just some more.
I had to.
He's like, hey, time.
I mean, everybody who we've ever name dropped has always canceled or been busy.
Yeah, totally.
So, but oh shit, I didn't even introduce it. Episode 27. I am the Steve Jobs mixed with Steve Austin, the Brown Ozymandias from the BX. Here live.
BX Mandius.
Here joined by here joined by Clown Prince from the Lost Borough, Mount Vernon, and all the way from
drum roll, please.
All the way from where's the drum roll at?
Oh God.
We're all the way from. Let's see. Where are you? Where is he? Man, bro, you got a VPN
man. You gotta have it prepared.
No, the thing is that he got a VPN on. I can't see his location. Damn, all the way.
He said I had a VPN on.
All the way.
Who the fuck do you think I am?
I think he's at Seaside, New Jersey today.
All the way from Union City, New Jersey. Shout out to Union City. We have our DC correspondent, our senior DC correspondent. Put some respect on that. Zoom.
God.
All the way from Union City, Jersey, calling in live. Sponsored by an Xbox Live headset. Shout out to Microsoft.
Actually, I use this for PS4 too.
Oh, crossplay.
Yeah,
crossplay in full effect already.
God damn, crossplay is beautiful.
Yo, before we start, I just noticed here, the girl that plays Pirate Jenny. Shout out Pirate Jenny.
Yeah.
Jessica Macho.
Yes, she was Gypsy on the Flash, the CW Flash.
She definitely was.
Shout out to her because I love her. So shout out to her.
She's awesome. No, she is awesome. She's dope.
But so we're gonna cover some recent news before we get into the episode, and we got some cool shit that dropped from the past week.
What news did drop?
Robert Pattinson. There were crickets.
Nothing really dropped.
I mean, well, not really news. Just we've
the Robert Pattinson thing.
Yeah,
I think,
Robert Pattinson. Yeah,
that's tough.
I
love that it's John Wick because it's like you're gonna see like a kind of different combat style than I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
With I feel like it's gonna be like a lot of like quick-ish takedowns,
Yeah,
but they're gonna be pretty fucking brutal.
I think we're gonna. Yeah, exactly. I think we're gonna see a lot of grappling, like when Batman's like on the
Yeah,
floor
yeah,
and
yeah,
has
yeah,
to, like
for sure.
fucking launch somebody with his leg. Like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, like in Arkham City.
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
yeah, this Batman's not gonna be like a fucking brute like I don't like Ben Affleck's was. I think
Yeah.
this one's gonna be more like
Suave with it.
suave. Yeah,
He's gonna be more.
Like,
more
finesse.
like
I'm gonna kick your ass, just mad smooth with it. You feel me?
or
Nah, but
Like I'm
yeah,
gonna make you look good getting your ass kicked. Like how that sound?
yeah. Compared to, I guess, Christian Bale's Batman fight
That
I think
is
it's gonna
choreography
be-
as
the
well.
only complaint I have with
I think this one's gonna be in between those two. You know, like when
Between
it comes
Batfleck
to
and
yeah, yeah.
To be honest, it can't get any worse than the Dark Knight trilogy's fighting. Like that shit was ass. That was the only ass thing about that trilogy. The only time he was really like, I was like, oh, this shit is fire, was when he was still training with the League of Assassins. I was like, yeah, this shit is heat. But then once he put on the suit, he just looked mad compressed in the suit. I'm like, yo, what's going on?
Well, yeah. Part of production there that was really difficult was him fighting with the suit on, because like Christopher Nolan wanted to go extremely realistic with it, but with it had its setbacks, and I guess the fighting style that suited Bale's bat suit the best was judo. It was a mixture of judo and boxing. He just used his hips a lot, like, used his arms and stuff. But we got what we got with it, But
Oh no, yeah, it definitely doesn't take away from the trilogy as a whole.
Nah, that trilogy was terrible. Imagine.
But nah, dude. When I saw the Ben Affleck warehouse scene, I'm like, yo,
That shit was ass.
Yo, this man about to get smacked through the camera, bro. Don't put some respect on Batfleck's name.
For real.
But nah, and then the only other thing I could think of in terms of news is Jason Momoa once again confirming the Snyder Cut exists.
I did like that he addressed the I figured since he said he already seen it before. I figured Zack Snyder had finished the effects and everything himself.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know Zack Snyder has his own production company. He just can't release it.
Of course. So of course he's and he probably would have just done that shit himself for shits and giggles. Like even if he didn't have his own production company.
But how come he can't release anything? Oh,
because
shit.
Warner Brothers.
It's not his characters.
Yeah.
Okay. See, in regards to this, I thought you meant like in general, like he can't put anything out.
Bro, if Zach could have been like, if he had the authority to release it, he would have been like, yo, here I go. He's like here I go.
like Warner Brothers, like if they ever give the okay, which I doubt they would ever do, like. Actually, you know what?
Nah,
here's my thing. If they really wanted to make HBO Max a fucking hit, what they should do is make it drop with HBO Max.
Yo, let me cut you off right here, right now, because if you paid attention to the last episode me and Ozymandias recorded, you would have knew that's what we talked about.
I watched it. I listened to it. I listened to it. What are you talking about?
I just fuck with you, bro. But
did you say what I just said?
No. We said something
speculated.
Similar, but not
exactly.
Not the way you said it though. But what I was gonna say was like, because I've been on Twitter, like on our account, I've been trying to get that not really popping off, but like Twitter for the most part has a lot of good like news, like newsworthy content.
Yeah.
So dude, just lately I've just been seeing a lot of like even like big time like newspapers and just like companies have been posting that this like release the Snyder Cut has really taken off a bit more now. And
it's because Jason Momoa talked about it. That's why.
Yeah, that's how it caught traction. Just because it got like a another name drop. Not that I want to call it legitimate, because Zach's mentioning of it is legitimate, but Jason mentioning it just gave it more steam. It's just like, oh shit, it's real.
Yeah, the fact that he said like, oh, I saw it and it's fucking amazing. made everyone be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, and the dude from MTV News, he had asked him. He was like, "Oh, what was it different than like what was released?"
Oh yeah, he was just like, "Yeah,
completely different." Like he didn't even hesitate. He was like, he was like, "No, yeah, like 100% different." So I don't know, man. I think Warner Brothers gonna cave in eventually. Eventually, they're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it, just release it.
Yeah, maybe they'll have like a moment that Bob Iger had, where he was like, we got to do this for the fans. This is totally not fueled by any clout or anything like that,
or money.
Nah, just it's for the fans.
On that note, Watchmen episode 3.
Ozzy was like he was literally about to leave his house and come burn my shit to the ground.
No, absolutely. I would never cause harm to anything in Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. I got family out there. Love y'all. I would never. It's never that serious, guys. Just know that. It's never that serious.
Notice he said he wouldn't cause harm to anything. He didn't say he wouldn't cause harm to anybody. So just keep that in mind.
All right, see why you blew it up.
Yeah, why you blew up my spot?
Nah, but let's episode 3, which features the longest joke in history.
Oh my god! So Jesus, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
The episode is called "She Was Killed by Space Junk," which is
a great title.
It is a great title
because she was almost killed by space junk.
Yeah, right. But yo, shout out my girl Jean Smart, aka Lori Blake.
Oh
MVP
my god!
Of the fucking episode
of the fucking season so far. I'm going that far. Of the season so far.
All right, let's break it down a bit. I got a couple of questions. First of all, about her, because her name is Lori Blake. Obviously, we know that she is the
daughter of the comedian.
Right. So, but her name is not Lori Blake, right?
It's Sally Jupiter, something Jupiter.
No, it's still Lori, but she changed her last name, and that was what my question was going to be about.
What's
up? Like, why do y'all think she changed her name? Because clearly we see her identity. She's targeting mass vigilantes. So you think because she previously was one, now like she wanted to change her whole identity, that as far as even changing her last name, because that like resonated with her in the past. You know what I mean?
Zoom, you want to go ahead first?
I think. Yeah, it probably was like I think it might have been related to like all like what Clown Prince said, maybe like resonating with the past and probably giving her like a kind of I guess a target maybe.
Yeah.
And I think she also you can see she has a disdain for heroes and everything else anyway, so she probably just wanted to further herself from it even more like that. It's like she definitely does not like heroes, as you can tell from like her first scene, like at the bank when she was like when her and the cops like staged that robbery.
Yeah, that shit was fire. That shit was hot.
Yeah, at first I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because I was like, "What?
You're going crazy."
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny because it's so backwards, from like society now, or not society, but like the world now. Because it's like before you stage stuff like that, but like, or not a bank robbery, but like you'll stage like something else, maybe like a drug deal or something.
Yeah.
And to get a criminal, like I mean, obviously, yeah, vigilantism is a crime in this show, but like you'll do this to catch a drug dealer or like a drug lord or whatever the hell. Now they're trying to catch vigilantes and they're just shooting them dead right there. It's crazy.
Well, the guy didn't die.
Yeah, but
remember, that's right. Yeah, he didn't die. He didn't die. Yeah, right.
Oh, how did you know like his costume was gonna block the bullets?
And she
like,
didn't answer.
Yeah,
she was just like, "Yo,
she don't care.
If he dies, he
Dude,
dies."
At the funeral. At the funeral.
Oh my god, bro! She just said, "Beep, beep."
Yeah, like dude said, "Beep."
She literally like said, "Shut the fuck up" in the most like arrogant way possible. Like I'm just cap your ass right now.
She's trying to get.
But-
Shorty's trying to get tiger
and then
camo
she's like,
with those headshots.
Word. And she's like, I thought he was bluffing.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure. So the reason, the reason why I asked, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stop referring to the Zack Snyder movie, just because I know it's not based off that. Even though Zack pretty much nailed it, he only changed a couple things. I'm gonna refer to the graphic novel. So yeah, in the graphic novel, her name was Lori Jupiter. So
yeah, and her mother was Sally Jupiter.
Yes. So that's why when we got introduced to her. It was Lori Blake, but then obviously, when she's on the plane with the guy she recruited,
I like that kid. That kid's fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm trying to what was his name? I want to get his name.
Was
and his name
James?
Was
no.
He didn't feel like a James. We'll get back to him.
I'll look it up. Y'all keep talking.
Petey. Thank you. Agent Petey. So he was like,
Dustin Ingram. Shout out to you, bro.
So yeah, basically, on the plane ride, he was like, "Yo, don't act like I'm a fan. Like, obviously, I know who you are. Like you." And again, it goes back to her kind of trying to stray away from the past, because she was just like, like, do you want to autograph? Like, whatever. Like, let's just get this out the way, right? And he was like, and he kind of stood up to her. Like, he was like, yo, what? Like, first of all, don't talk to me like that. Like, you don't know where I'm from. Like,
yeah.
You don't know where I'm from.
Yo,
that nigga's still buns, bro. I don't care.
Nah, bro. He was like, you got to remember something. You recruited me. You told me to come with you. Like, fuck you talking about? And then he was like, I still got them cheeks afterwards. So fuck you talking about? So, drink some water. So, yeah, I think there was also the scene where this goes to my other question as well. How do you guys feel about Senator Keene? Is there something off about him? Is it something you guys think he has something to do with anything like relevant in this season?
Senator Keene. Oh, that's the one that was about to get kidnapped, right?
Yeah. I think that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I mean, not anything terrible. I mean, but he could be involved in, I guess, like whatever this conspiracy is that they're alluding to.
Right, because he seems pretty genuine, like he's
and it's always those ones you got to be suspicious of. You're right.
So like he's the one that started the act for police officers to wear masks.
Right.
And he's like, yo, it's been working. But even Lori pointed out, she was like, well, yeah, obviously it's gonna look good since you apparently he might be running for president.
Yeah.
So that so in that scene, what I wanted to mention was when he went to her place and they were talking. Did you guys see in the background was a picture, right? It was
it looked like Andy Warhol style of the one of four of the OG Watchmen.
So it showed the three, right? It showed the comedian, Dr. Manhattan, Ozymandias, and then in the place where her picture was, it was just her, like her actual self in front of it.
Yeah,
I thought that was amazing. I was like, that's fucking dope.
That was great. Great.
Wait, what picture was this?
It was a painting that was sitting behind her while Senator Keene was talking to her in her apartment. This was after she took out the giant blue dildo.
Yeah, just go. No. That's when she got to the hotel. This was
yeah.
This happened before when he first recruited her to go to Tulsa. So, and then that's what I also wanted to bring up. I just kind of love the connection.
Oh yeah.
Within the episode.
Sorry, I just remembered it.
Oh, you're right. Just like because in case the audience wants to know too, go check out the official HBO Watchmen podcast. You can find it on all.
Oh yeah, they do some dope. They talk about some dope stuff for sure.
Promo.
Yeah, because they need it.
I know, right? Hey,
it tells you to watch it after every episode.
Hey,
go check this out, man.
Maybe they'll reciprocate the love,
Yeah, sure, totally.
But what's his name? Damon Lindelof was on there.
It was a great conversation.
Nah, it's Damon, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Fuck. We'll say it's Damon.
Wait,
we'll just call him
Lindelof.
We'll just call him Lindelof.
No, yeah, his name is Damon. Shout out to Damon.
Yeah, Damon. Shout out to Damon. Yeah, he really like broke it down, and I don't like. Did you guys realize how much like history that these writers have to like study in order?
Oh, of course.
Right, it's just insane. Like the fact when they were talking about Angela, right? Getting off track for a little bit. Just a little side note, like because of Dr. Manhattan, the U.S. ended up winning the Vietnam War, and she was born in Vietnam, but Vietnam is technically a U.S. state in this Watchmen universe.
Yep.
Like that's fucking wild, dude. Like that. Like to me, I find that crazy. I find that very interesting. That they tie in a fictional universe, but they tie it in with real life events, and it just makes it that much more real. It makes it that much more compelling to
I think it's like very interesting too, like how he said how race was like of like it was just kind of becoming at the forefront of like everyday conversation kind of thing,
right?
In the sense of like when he was taking on this job, I think he said Charlottesville had just happened.
Yes, that's exactly.
And that's like so. It's like now knowing that, I'm like, wow, I can totally see the inspiration. Well, I hate to use that word inspiration, but I can see.
No, but
I can see the connection and like the similarities, I should say, the similarities in that, and how it can definitely become like in a world like that, you can definitely see that happening. And I think it's just so awesome to hear him talk about all that stuff. It was very I think he put everything in a very like real way and very easy for people to understand, even the people that had a problem with the race being such a topic and all that stuff. So
right. I mean, even he admitted to it. What we've been talking for the past 2 episodes that we've done for Watchmen is, he knew it was risky, but
absolutely.
But he's like, this is what
especially as a white man doing it. No offense. I mean, not saying that you can't do it, but I'm just saying, like people might be like, oh, he doesn't know about the struggle. And
right, exactly. He can also get backlash for doing it from the black community as well. So it was very risky.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
exactly. But no, I think, something he said as well really caught on to me, where he was like, you have to, like, him writing it. He's like, I'm gonna write something that I'm gonna watch.
Oh yeah,
that resonated with me because I'm like, yo, he's fucking right. Like, why is he gonna try to impress like all these other people? And it's like he said, he's like, if everyone loves it, great, But there's gonna be times where people are just gonna be like, this show sucks, I hate it, and he's gonna be like, fuck it, I love it. I created this.
Yeah, because if you make a show that you like, then you're gonna find that like other people are gonna like it too, because I mean, and not everyone's. And at the end of the day, you have to accept that also not everyone is gonna like it. That's what sucks, but it is what it is.
That's the I guess the environment that this genre of media has created, kind of a niche community, because same way you have the group of people that like BVS, you have the group of people that despise Watchmen.
Right.
You have Damon Lindelof. Today. Exactly. You have Damon Lindelof who just took the source material, was like, and he like, I mean, he shouted out.
He expanded upon it.
Exactly. He shouted Zach out. I'm sure he liked the movie as well and stuff, but the source material is the source material. Like you can't get more grassroots than that. Like, yo, I'm starting from here. Whatever Zach did is whatever Zach did. Now, it would be cool. Yeah, of course, it would have made it, I guess, visually more easy to follow, considering that Zach had a whole like live action film and stuff. And like, if you want, and now like, it's kind of like Damon Lindelof is kind of trolling now because he's telling like at least anybody watching like, yo, go read.
Yeah. No,
like dude, if you're trying to like look into it and catch up to stuff, like go read. Like
he even said it. Him and the other writers, they would read an issue and they would spend 3 hours talking about it. One issue, right? And there's on the graphic novel is what, 12?
It's 12 issues.
So like
Yeah.
You spend about what 36 hours just talking about all the graphic
Issues.
novel as a whole. Yeah,
Shit, I
and
could
it's
talk
like,
about Watchmen for that long.
no way. But it's just like, just to see how he envisioned it and created it, to me is very dope. And also going back to what we're talking about now, and this is another point I wanted to bring up. I've been thinking about this shit all day, so like, I'm sorry, like I'm just very excited.
Nah, bro. No, listen.
There's no excitement here.
You are
not on this show.
You are the ESPN correspondent for the Chillin' With Villains podcast. You're gonna take over the spread today.
I'm dead.
Word, y'all don't need me. I'll see y'all later.
Nah, bro, we're still talking about DC. We need the senior correspondent.
Exactly.
Here.
We need you to fact check, bro. Even though I like Watchmen more.
But no, yeah. So he, the fact that, like what he said, you still need that source material, but we're in a way they're still starting from scratch because it's a new idea. But that's what I think this episode did so well of. You know what I mean? Like the first two episodes, you can't really say like that it felt like a Watchmen like show, right? But then today
That's
get
debatable.
it. No, definitely. But I'm saying in terms of like they'll drop you a hint, right? Like, oh, Dr. Manhattan here.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But now, like now the
it didn't feel like Watchmen focused. It kind of felt like they were kind of like a side thing. You feel is that what you're saying?
Exactly. But then this episode, right off the bat, you get started with one of the main characters from the graphic novel. So it's like, you're already like involved. You're like, wait, but what happened to our So I thought for the most part that we weren't even gonna get the main protagonist in the show, right? Which is Regina King's character, Sister Night. But they did such a good job of tying in Laurie Blake's character, and within the episode's like what 52, 53 minutes.
Yeah,
they did that so well. They didn't even give an elaborate backstory. Like they did that shit in like 20, 30 minutes. They said, boom, here she is. This is what she's about. If you read the graphic novel, you know who this is, or you watched the movie. If you don't, you'll still know who it is because we're just that good at it. We'll be able to tell you in 20 to 30 minutes.
That's what I want to commend Damon for, because you're taking a character that's been out for over 30 years, and you're kind of right. I'm familiar with who she is. I know who she is. I know who she was before like the 30-year mark. And now he's kind of like revitalizing her. Again, not rebooting her character. He's just continuing on where she left off in a sense, because in the graphic novel, Laurie Blake was left with knowing, okay, the comedian attempted to rape my mother, and then 10 or so years later, 20 years later, they met up and they actually had sex and had me. He's my father. And on top of that, Dr. Manhattan got framed. And on top of that, I'm involved with this whole bullshit and stuff. So, in a sense, this is showing her character not coming full circle, but growing. And because in the comics, she was very naive. She was into Dr. Manhattan. And clearly you see that she still is really into him and misses him a lot. If she's spending so much time in these damn phone booths.
Yeah, she a platinum phone booth user, bro.
and did y'all see the dildo she whipped out?
Yo, come on, man.
Like the fuck?
They're getting crazy.
She was like, you know what? I need the real thing.
Exactly.
Knocked on young Petey's door.
Exactly. So during parts of the episode where you're seeing her character interactions and like, bro, she's a badass.
Yeah.
She may be
where's Looking Glass?
Exactly. Yeah, she's like, so this is like what's that called? A racist detector. He's like, that's an oversimplification.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was like, so should I call you Wade or Mr. Tillman? And then he just takes off the mask. Like it just feels like throughout the whole episode she's just like 2 steps ahead of people, you know?
Yeah, but also she's FBI, so
no, definitely. But and then I loved her interaction with Angela the
Oh
most.
my God.
Because it, like these stories sometimes you're like, oh, so we have a good guy and we have another good guy. So like, oh, they're gonna, they're just gonna get along and try to find victory. But no, that wasn't the case. Like, Lori tried to be a smartass, and like she knew better, right? She was like, oh, like I went into his closet and I didn't find shit. And she was like, and I don't take you for the fainting type. So you must have found something, right? And like she was going on this spiel, and I thought Regina King's character was gonna get all shook, and she was just like, "Oh, boo!" Like she was like, fuck you. Like, who the fuck
Yo,
you?
Shorty did some
I was like,
disrespectful shit, bro. She
wow.
poured the whole coffee out. I was like,
Word.
shit.
What got me tight about that?
What?
That could have been for Petey, my guy Petey. Like, why she had to do that?
Oh my God.
That shit got me tight, bro. I'm not gonna front. All right, you mind? How about that?
But anyway, when she's not telling the longest joke on earth, the longest joke ever, she's.
It was a good joke though.
I mean, whether it's a joke or not, I'm not the one to say. I didn't write it, but that yo.
What was your critique with it?
No, no, I didn't have an issue with anything there. I'm just making fun of it. The thing is that when you see like kind of her resentment when she's in that phone booth and she's like this is pointless. Like, why am I even dedicating time to doing this? You're not even gonna listen to this. And then the payoff later is just astounding because it's just like, oh shit, like he actually is listening, and Dr. Manhattan probably still has some ounce of humanity in him. And if you want to refer to either Zack Snyder's iteration or the graphic novel, it's the same shit. Is word by word everything that she was describing him as, somebody who just felt disconnected with humanity and just decided to dip.
Right.
Yeah.
So
question.
What's up?
I couldn't make out the model, or was this wasn't the same car that took
that took Homeboy in the wheelchair? Nah.
Yeah, that took Will.
It's not the same one. No, because that was like a sedan or something. Though he left in a Jeep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just making sure because then, like, it would have been a little bit more of connecting pieces, but
yeah, but it was really dope to see, and I just think that her character is her and Angela,
right,
are obviously gonna be the unlikely like team up and stuff, but it's gonna be really, really dope to see what else like rolls out from this, because obviously it wouldn't be a TV show if it doesn't lead to some kind of climactic event.
Do me a favor, please.
Yeah.
Go to commercial.
All right, we back. So
damn. That was a long time we were going.
Yeah, word. Sorry, guys.
So yeah. So I would like to start speculating on now the other half of the episode, which went over what Ozymandias is up to and what he's doing. But like, look, now let's see Zoom. I'm gonna be the culprit here, so you could come at me about it. Shout out to Charlie.
Yo,
shout out to Charlie for kind of gaslighting fine gaslighting a theory that is pretty cool to speculate about, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it for the simple fact that it's too extensive of a circumstance to be in for Dr. Manhattan to care that much about. So let me fill everyone in who hasn't heard about this theory, but the theory stands that Ozymandias is apparently going through some sort of time loop where he's experiencing the same day over and over again. And everything he's doing, all these experiments and stuff, is to try to get him out of this time loop, this enclosure that Dr. Manhattan supposedly has him in on Mars.
Yes.
So he's
trying
to
Mr. Phillips and Miss Cruikshanks.
Exactly. So like he's trying to like figure all this out to try to leave. it's a really dope theory. Very, I guess it's cool to speculate and think it out. But Doctor Manhattan doesn't care
Yeah, he
about.
doesn't
He
care enough.
doesn't care about teaching some
Yeah.
human a lesson. Like he
Yeah,
himself.
if he did care about that, then he would the seven whatever their name is.
Cavalry.
Yeah, the seventh cavalry wouldn't be a thing.
Exactly. The Seventh Cavalry wouldn't be a thing. He would have never left Earth 30 years ago, and he would have stayed. Even though he was framed by Ozymandias, he still would have. He still would have stayed. You know what I'm saying?
Cause, like who's gonna touch him? Like he'll be like, yo, like, I bet you want to frame me, cool. Like y'all still can't hurt me. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, or
You can't.
But-
Yeah.
what I wanted to say, because I don't know if y'all remember on the when Lindelof was speaking, he said that Ozymandias' story, like it is kind of a refreshing break from like the actual story, you know, like and when he said that, I started to realize that too. I'm like, yeah, because you know we get the main storyline with Angela, and then we now get introduced to Lori, and then we just get him on the side, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, let's see what adventure he's on next. You know,
it's kind of like filler, but it's not filler.
exactly. Like, but he did say like not everything is connected as we may think it is, but obviously we know it's gonna go full circle eventually, and especially after
Yeah, we're gonna get our answers and all that stuff.
you know I remember Petey on the flight, he even said it, right? He's like, I have a I don't know if it was a friend or he has a connection in Argentina that said he's still that Ozymandias is still alive, you know, just roaming around over there in Argentina. And obviously we get that thing at the end, like where he goes, best regards, you know, kind wishes, Adrian Veidt. And obviously we all knew that he already was, but now it just, you know, confirmed it officially. And then he goes and puts on his Mermaid Man suit, which was pretty dope to see.
All right. That's still better cosplay than anything CW has.
Oh,
And I'm not being biased because I chose.
Yeah, you are.
I chose his villain name to represent me.
for your admin.
But nah, no, you're right. It does look goofy, but yo,
I think that was the point, low key.
Yeah, because it was around. He was around what, like the fucking around the time when he was like around, like as actually.
it was 85.
It's exactly. So that's what you're gonna get. It's 85, not fucking
I feel like
2016.
even the face that Jeremy Irons made, just it was like when he looked at the camera, it was kind of just like here's a head nod to you Watchmen fans, but I look like fuck, I look goofy in this shit, but here you go.
I'm sorry, you kind of cut off for me. What did you say?
Oh no, I'm saying that like when even Jeremy Irons, like to me at least, the expression he had on his face, like the kind of like angry, like poised look, I think it was just sort of should have been taken as a joke for the audience.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Like, and exactly to your point that I wore this shit back in whatever 1985, 1986. Like, I'm not gonna look like my dope self the way I did then, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but also I think it would be kind of ridiculous for Damon to modernize his outfit if he's already an older dude. Like,
oh no, of course.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I don't
like,
expect him to.
Yeah, I don't expect him to either. But you know, I just really love that we're getting a look at an OG suit for once, and we also like another side note. We get a name drop that Night Owl is still alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not the original Night Owl, the OG Night Owl. His not predecessor. Was the word? His successor.
Successor, yeah.
His successor, who I guess went to prison for being a vigilante, and for all we know, some messy shit. Lori could have locked him up, or maybe not. Maybe he got locked up, which is why Senator Keene was like, "Yo, you know that presidential pardons exist, right? Like, I could hook your boy up if you help me out." So, you know, this is going to be really interesting to see how they bring all the OG guys together. Obviously, with the exception of comedian and Rorschach, who died in the graphic novel. Spoiler alert.
Bro. Fuck, man. I wanted to read. But can we rewind time for a little bit? Rewind for a second. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the whole Ozymandias situation.
No. Yeah. That was
Yeah.
just a side note I wanted to make.
No, yeah, of course. So you had brought up that theory, that you got from Charlie and shit. So who was the person? Who would he call the person that shot at him? That shot at his feet?
Oh, they call them the
game master,
the game warden,
game warden. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he in the graphic novel? No, right?
All of this is everything you're seeing right now is from the mind of Damon Lindelof and Dave Gibbons. The thing is that the situation that Ozymandias is in is not in any way, shape, or form referenced to in the graphic novel. Like this is all new. The situation he's in has not been done before. But the thing is that just the callbacks and the little subtle hints at what's happened in the comics and stuff is mentioned throughout. Is just everything we're seeing on screen right now is brand new.
What was he wearing? Was he wearing a Rorschach mask?
No, he was just wearing like whatever.
It looked like one for me. I don't know why.
It was black. It was a black mask. Yeah, no, I thought.
No, he was one of the clones.
Was it?
Yeah, he was one of the clones. He was like his job is just the game warden, like to watch the wild animals. That's it.
Oh, okay. And another thing I wanted to point out, I'm gonna shout out Steal Her Eyes on Instagram, just because he sent us something from an account HBO.Watchmen on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you remember in episode 1 where they saw Dr. Manhattan on Mars and you saw him like in front of like a castle, like
wow, that's crazy. I'm literally reading an article that's literally about that.
Yeah, right. But in the comic books he builds that exact same thing.
Listen,
Linda.
Mr. Lindelof, please listen. All right. And then with Angela's adopted son, right? He was building a castle, right? That castle toy, which looks exactly the same as the one Dr. Manhattan was building, and the castle that Ozymandias is currently living in. So 3 castles all looking the same. So I don't know. That's definitely connecting something, with the castle. So it could be, to your point, Ozymandias, where you said that Dr. Manhattan doesn't care enough to put Ozymandias in a jail in his own prison, but maybe he does. Maybe he's like, you know what? Fuck you. And he's just playing mind games, or it could serve a larger purpose that we don't know, because if he's doing this shit in Mars, we don't know what he really has in store, and I don't think we're gonna find out until the last episode, or even just leading up to season 2, if we do get another season.
Yeah. Well,
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, what I think about the whole that theory does work because he's on Mars, so he's close to Earth and all that stuff. But from where we left off in the graphic novel, I feel like he went to Mars because it's the closest planet he could teleport to that he knows of.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says he's not omniscient. He doesn't know everything. He can look into the future, but not as far as the end of time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why he says nothing ever ends. That's why I think that little part of humanity that's in him is like, what is the closest, most desolate place I can go to that's not Earth? Mars.
Yeah.
It could also be the moon, but there's, I don't know why he chose Mars.
They can still watch him.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is,
if they really wanted to communicate, they could. You'd just be annoying. I'd go to Mars.
Yeah, but the thing is that you see how you brought that up. They could communicate with him. They still figured out a way to get in touch with him.
Well, that's not. That's like the most like. That's something that's manageable though. Like, if he lived on the moon, they could send shit up there. Like you know what I'm saying?
Dr.
Like
Manhattan has his own personal secretary.
Sorry, I know he's busy today.
Yeah, right. he's like, let it go to voicemail. But dude, it is fascinating, man. I mean, like I said before, Lindelof is creating a new story, yet still making the origin or the
homage.
original character right, and creating a new story for them, and that's just awesome to see, to be honest. If and I'm sure, you know, obviously, Ozymandias, you're a huge Watchmen fan. I'm sure you're currently enjoying all of this. You
Oh,
know,
without a doubt, without a doubt.
like I remember watching, you know, Zack Snyder's movie, and I was like, I was so like just
Oh,
pissed at the end, and you know why? Because for I don't know how long we've been getting superhero films, not superhero comic book films, because none of these guys are superheroes, in my opinion.
no, definitely not.
None of them are
Definitely
heroes.
not. Yeah,
really?
I,
dude.
I, I wouldn't say maybe Night Owl in a
Nope, him. Nope, not him. He is. He definitely not him.
definitely not my bad. But why I say that is because, you know, after almost every superhero film before it came out in 2009, I'm sorry, comic book film, we always got, you know, the protagonist, the antagonist, protagonist will win, you know, this and that. And then this one, like especially, you know, in 2009, I was still growing up and shit, and I watched it, I was like, yo, what the fuck was that ending? I was like, nobody won here. Like, there was no winner. Like, everything just got fucked, you know. And that was the first time me experiencing that in a comic book movie. And then when I rewatched it, you know, they had it when I was studying abroad in Australia. Slight flex. Um, oh, the train.
Yeah, shout out to Amtrak.
So then when I watched it again, you know, this was like 2 years ago. Obviously, I'm much older than I was in 2009.
Really?
Yeah, by a little bit though.
The 2
Um,
years.
so when I watched it again, it's not that it made more sense, but I was just like, wow, like even though Ozymandias is a fucking dickhead, like in a way, in a very like it kind of reminds me of like the X-Men Magneto, you know, like you see the reasoning, although very radical, there is a reasoning behind it. It wasn't like he just did it to do it.
Exactly.
So it's awesome, dude. And once I heard about this show coming to HBO, I was like, I'm all for it. And I'm legit. After we're done with this, I promise you, I'll read a little bit, probably the first two issues of the graphic novel, because now I'm very interested. You know.
I'm glad. I'm glad you announced that you're doing that because there's a lot. No, for real. Because like I too remember when I first watched the film, and I actually got put onto it by my cousin. She told me, she was like, "Yo, like you know about that movie Watchmen that's coming out?" I'm like, "No, what is that?" And I'm in high school. I mean, I'm already like, a geek about all this stuff. And I'm just like, wait, did I miss this? What is this? And she was like, it's from DC. And I'm like, oh shit, where? She was like, nah, but you gotta read the book. I'm not taking you to go see it if you don't read the book.
Damn, your cousin pressed the fuck out of
Exactly.
you.
And I'm like,
Word.
and I trust her. No, for real. And I trust
I
her
fuck with
word.
it.
I trust her word because she's like, her music taste is awesome. And she put me onto a lot of good music. So I'm like, you know what?
Right.
Like, I'll
Let
take
me
her word
read it.
for it. So, bro, I went to Barnes and Noble, copped the graphic novel, but it's now a compendium. So like all 12 issues are in one.
Right.
Like it's not like 12 separate issues anymore. So, dude, I read that shit in one sitting.
Damn, dude.
Like the illustration. Shout out to Dave Gibbons. Like who like there was something about the art style of the comic book that's translating really well to TV because
Hmm.
it conveys real life.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a ridiculous circumstance where you have this dude who is basically a walking nuclear
God.
hydrogen god. You know what I'm saying? Like you have that going on, but you also have very real life situations, which is what I grew to appreciate. And mind you, like you said, like we was young, like we was in high school, like getting put on to this very mature content that came out in the 80s when everything was goofy and heh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I just think that going forward with what's going on with these new characters, that it's still gonna convey that same message to probably a finale that might be just as ridiculous as the ending of the graphic novel, for all we know.
Right, with the monster squid, right?
Yeah. Now, the reason Zack Snyder didn't go with the monster squid at the end of that is
It would. I don't think it would have fit the tone of his
exactly. It would have looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
It would have looked ridiculous, and that's why that's the main reason why that was the only change that he made to it, aside from a few others.
Right. What I was gonna ask, what were the few others that he changed? Since I didn't read the graphic
all right,
novel.
so there's obviously the graphic novel is extremely dense and
Hold on.
What's up?
Mark, are you pacing around your room again?
No. Why?
Bro, get
Am I
your
breathing?
inhaler. Yeah, get your inhaler.
Mark, you got asthma?
No.
Oh, asshole. But you said get your inhaler. I was like, oh shit, you got asthma too? But
continue.
But yeah, oh yeah, so the thing about the graphic novel is that there's a lot in terms of each character's origin story that was not explored to its full extent. Like Rorschach, the reason he got that mask was because he worked at a linen factory or something like that.
Okay.
And this is like mad, like this is, oh my god, I feel like this is annoying, but
What is?
no, I'm saying like niggas probably listening like, oh, here we go. So all right, so he worked in this linen factory, and then this package came in, and it was a dress, and the dress was this new molecule, like induced. Or not induced. Everything has molecules, but like this weird science shit, this Dr. Manhattan science shit dress that it has ink in it and it just moves around like a Rorschach thing. And Rorschach thought that shit was fly. So
he's like, yeah,
so the reason they got the package is because the rich woman who bought it didn't like it. Like she just decided to send it back. I think that's how it went. That she like, so Rorschach took the dress and just turned it into a mask. And then like, kind of like similar to how they are right now in the show, you see that Hooded Justice says, like his monologue is like, before I put the mask on, like I'm a completely different person and all this stuff. That's how Rorschach felt when he put that mask on.
Right.
He felt like how the Joker felt when he put his makeup on and Todd Phillips' Joker, like that. Like he felt like
empowering.
Exactly. He felt empowered. He felt like if he were to go out and be seen and do something with his mask on, he could make a difference. But obviously, his moral Venn diagram is way different than everybody else's. Rorschach believes in no compromise, which is what the 7th Cavalry adopted, and they radicalized. He believes in no compromise, but is for a specific reason. He believes like what Zack Snyder conveyed in the film as well. Men get arrested, dogs get put down.
Yes.
That's his that's that's what he goes by and all that.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine if we would have seen that in the film, but it was already 3 hours long. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he could.
So there's an extended cut, right?
Yeah,
like
there's an extended cut that has included basically the comic within. Yeah, the first Snyder cut we got. The comic book within the graphic novel, which is called Tales of the Black Freighter, which is there's a comic book that this kid would read at the newsstand. And you know, in the passing frames where we're transitioning from one character to another, and you know that kid at the newsstand transitions to what happens at the end and all that. But Zach basically recreated that entire comic book and put it in his Snyder cut of the Watchmen film. None of that stuff was like cut out. It was completely cut out from the theatrical film, that whole comic book segment of it. But along with that, the few changes were when Laurie and I think Daniel is Night Owl's name. Yeah, it's Daniel. Yeah, it's Daniel. they like when they went out and like they got jumped and stuff. That fight scene that they had, that I don't remember that happening in the comics. What else? What else? Oh, another change that he made in the film was Dr. Manhattan when he goes, "Leave me alone,"
Mm-hmm.
and he makes everybody disappear.
Yeah. Okay.
In the graphic novel, he disappears.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, I'm definitely reading this shit.
In the graphic novel, he disappears right there, and the like everybody's TV goes white noise and all that stuff, and then like when it cuts back, like he's gone, and
Right.
then the next frame is him on Mars, like taking his clothes off because he's like, I'm not about this.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be butt naked right now. You gotta get me tight.
But yeah, there's a couple little scenes here and there, like you know that were in the film that weren't exactly in the comic, but it's a lot. Like is they're too subtle to really like call back on right now. But
Right.
just know that is one of the most accurate adaptations of a graphic novel or comic ever done. Like apart from 300 and some parts of Sin City and Watchmen and stuff, like those are like the three films I think that like are either page by page copies or close enough to be good still.
Right. Yeah, man. This is dope. You know, just being able to say that you've tied in the TV show with a graphic novel that was made in the 80s. It's just, I think it's incredible what they're doing. I think, you know, even in the podcast itself, Lindelof was like, the guy had asked him like, you know, I think he asked him like, do you know what you're doing? And Lindelof was just like, yeah, bro, like don't worry about it. Like I got y'all. And I trust him at this point. Right now, we're 3 episodes in. The third episode was to me by far the best episode.
Yeah,
I was invested throughout the whole way. Like I said, I think that also goes to show just the level of acting. You know, just makes it that much more compelling. Like again, I'm shouting out Jean Smart again, but like, you know, she like how I said it in either the first or second episode. How Jeremy Irons, you know, still gave you that Ozymandias feel that you would if you saw the Watchmen movie back in 2009.
Yep.
You know, different actor, but you still like he's just playing that role to perfection still. The same thing with Jean Smart. I think she is just doing the absolute best with this character, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. I'm expecting to see some weird shit because like yeah. You know, like you said with the graphic novel, maybe Zach's movie didn't have the you know, the tone for the giant squid, but then we even saw it in the first or second episode. You know, it was raining squid, which again was a nice little Easter egg, and also it just shows that yeah, this show can probably get a little weird. So
I like how they it kind of this last episode reminded me of Euphoria. In the sense of it kind of focused on a character that wasn't the main character, you know, and they kind of but they sprinkled in like the main character, obviously, like Regina King, throughout the episode, but like it was mostly like what's her name,
Laurie Blake.
Laurie Blake's episode,
right.
Which was like really dope, and I noticed that, and then I was listening to the podcast, and he literally said like, oh, like yeah, we're gonna have like episodes like that where it's like, you know, like a large part of it's gonna, you know, be character building, and you're gonna focus on one kind of like, I guess I don't want to say side characters, but I guess, you know, for all intents and purposes, side character.
Yeah.
So
King's character is the protagonist, but it's like
a side protagonist almost.
It's right. It's like I'm a very big supporting character.
Supporting character, yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, I think that's like a really great idea for TV shows to do, especially like if you have a limited run, you know, where it's like 12, 10 episodes, whatever. uh, to focus on one character, like for the for a few episodes. I think that's great because it just builds out more characters and it gets people to be like, okay, I understand where she's coming from now. I get it.
Exactly.
Like, or she or he, yeah.
It really
So,
helps us get invested because that's what I think he's also trying to do here. I actually care.
absolutely.
I care very deeply. From episode 1, I cared about the chief. Like, they made us care about the chief,
Yeah.
and then they flip it on us, and he's an asshole. You know what I'm saying? What?
Yeah.
Him?
Him? Huh?
So
what?
But and then same deal with Angela. I don't want anything to happen to her. Same thing now with Lori. I don't want anything to happen to her. Same thing with Ozymandias. Even though he's crazy, still don't want anything to happen to him.
Something gonna happen to him.
Yeah. He might catch these blue hands.
He probably already did catch it. He's trying to cover right now.
Any speculation going forward that we haven't done yet already?
I think
no.
the one thing I just want to say, which I think is not I think it's not for just entertainment purposes or just a nice, nod to the Watchmen fans, the constant ticking of the clock.
Woo!
I think it has it has a very important meaning. I think time is ticking. Like some shit's about to go down. Whether it's going on with the 7th Cavalry or Ozymandias or Dr. Manhattan. I don't think I don't think anything that goes on is happening accidentally. In regards to the cinematography, in regards to the music, in regards to like I said, the ticking clock.
Yeah.
And another thing I have to point out, I don't know if you guys noticed, after Angela left, from dumping the coffee in the hole, it showed the goggles she was wearing, and then through them you saw Lori, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it could be an Easter egg for something. I don't know for what, but I think I like that they put it just for visually pleasing effects. I think it has a purpose, meaning.
I don't know. Maybe it was just a cool camera shot, but the whole ticking the whole ticking of the clock is very symbolic because obviously watches are very prominent in this entire series. Duh, Watchmen.
Right.
So but in the graphic novel and in Zack Snyder's film, you see them reference the clock. The clock is now 10 minutes to midnight. Midnight being total and complete global catastrophe, which is what the graphic novel was kind of building up towards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the significance of this ticking is gonna mean some crazy shit because this is a 9-hour buildup as opposed to a 3-hour buildup. You know what I'm saying? So I hope it's more intense and more. I hope it makes the ending of the graphic novel matter that much more. I guess in terms of scale.
Right.
Not that it's gonna be better than it, or that I mean, it has a chance to be, yeah, because they're building up and they have more time to, I guess, visually to show us what they could do with that. But I don't know. I just hope that it's as crazy as the intensity feels when I hear that shit go. Because every time that shit happens, I'm like worried. I'm like, all right, dude, because that was a close ass call, like with Angela and stuff. Like, yo, my queen gotta live, fam. Don't do that.
My son, the Chief's body is donezo.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that shit is done.
That is wild.
All right, well, yeah, y'all, stay
Technical
tuned.
difficulties.
Maybe we might. I hope to do a Thursday show. Hopefully this week. If not, then we got. Oh, no, we already. Yeah, I think we're gonna get together for sure next week. I hope. To do a Thursday show because it's been a while since we did I guess a longer form style of a podcast that used to getting like from before. But these weekly joints are lit because we're we get to keep up with what's current. Y'all get more content. It's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah. This podcast was shorter than that joke.